acro yoga without the yoga is just bad acrobatics.
This is Karolis from AcroYogaTV, and now from AcroFestonia 2016 I'm going to talk with one of the teachers here, with Emma. And could you please tell more about yourself? How did your journey start?
Hi. Yes, so I've been a student of yoga for many years, over 20 years. And I really found the practice to be so good for getting out of my head and getting in the, using the body as a vehicle for being really present and calming the mind and emotions and everything, helping regulate my emotions and energy levels. And about almost 9 years ago, I moved from the States to Ecuador, and a guy came offering some acro yoga courses at this studio I was teaching yoga at. His name is Juan Pablo Restrepo, and I never heard of the practice before. I thought it was a little bit strange. The name acro yoga, is this a really serious thing? I don't know. But I just decided to give it a shot, and I just fell in love with this space where we can kind of take yoga and the awareness that we develop and the presence that we develop in our yoga practice to relating to another. One of the really beautiful things about making a transition from being a student of acro yoga to being a teacher of acro yoga is that the collaboration continues. It's very much about teamwork, the practice, working together and creating new shapes and flows of movement and therapy together. And then when you're teaching, generally we work with another teacher or two other teachers or teachers and assistants, and there's a spirit of collaboration in the process of creating the classes and teaching them, which I really enjoy, because as a yoga teacher, the experience of teaching yoga can be so different from just being a student and practicing. People work through a challenge, and then their spirit and their heart come and really shine through. That's what keeps bringing me back to the practice and meeting new people and teaching classes, is helping to create an experience where we're uplifting each other. And so often we can be in a situation where there's competition, our insecurities come out, and I want to be creating an atmosphere where that kind of can fall away and not be important, and what's important is rejoicing in other people's successes and uplifting the other and feeling that others have cared enough to help to uplift us. I love the play of the acrobatics. I enjoy a bit of a rush when something feels like it's going to be scary, and then I can manage it, or we fall in a safe way, and it really brings out the joy and the playfulness in me. Sometimes when I like being at a festival like this and I'm seeing people with a very high acrobatic level that I'm not at, I've had moments of thinking, oh, what kind of an acro yogi am I? I don't really know how to do these crazy pops, and then I remember, but it's not. It's one of my teachers says, like, acro yoga without the yoga is just bad acrobatics. So it's acro yoga. It's meant to be, take it a little light, take it as fun, challenge yourself, but for me, I just always want to remember, like, the deeper intention of uplifting ourselves, raising our spirits, raising our vibration.
It's 2016, it's third festival, but it seems like it's 11th or so because it's so professional, the environment is so good. But that's for me as a participant and just seeing here. What about for you as a teacher?
It feels really great. I love the homey environment at AcroFestonia. I was here 2 summers ago for not for the first AcroFestonia, but we did another event before that, and it was kind of the first acro yoga event that was done in Kusiku, and to see how much the space has grown and how organized they've become, and putting systems in place that help the organizers be able to lead without just doing all the little tasks that need to be done is wonderful to see. It's rather different than some other events where at a rented venue. Everybody feels like family, everybody feels like friends. The people that are working here are here because they want to be here first and foremost, because they enjoy the environment and supporting what's happening here. So to me, it's just full of heart, and possibly other events may not have as much heart in them. What I feel is that one of the things that we develop in our yoga practice, especially in asana practice, is a real awareness, like body awareness and awareness of subtle things happening inside of us, and the practice can be very introverted. In fact, I lived in New York for almost 15 years and practiced at different studios at different times, and I would say I hardly ever made a friend practicing yoga wherever I went. So I didn't really feel part of a community. And for me, acro yoga is a space where you can bring the kind of awareness that you're developing in your personal asana practice, and we're drawing in. We have this pratyahara, like draw your senses in thing, but then how do we make use of the skills that we've developed? It's a place where we can kind of practice making use of the skills that we've developed of being more aware and more subtle with our attention. So we can bring it out to include another person in our field, and and have a space where we are embodying a awareness of the other, our relationship with the other, in a very embodied way. And we can practice that through what we're doing physically with them and the challenges that it poses to, carry them and move them. And
what are you thinking maybe of future events, future acro yoga? How will it evolve?
I've been very surprised to see the practice becoming more, in some communities and some areas, like going to a lot of standing acrobatics and high hand things, which I find myself not that interested in, because I feel it somehow relates less to the yoga that I know, as far as yoga poses and so on, and working like yoga poses in different in L basing or in on a base. So I've been surprised by that progression, although if I think about it, I'm not surprised, because as we raise our level, we want more things to challenge us. So for me, one challenge that I see will be in the acro yoga world is how to keep this, how to take keep the feeling of the acro yoga that it's yoga, not acrobatics, because we can just go and do acrobatics. That's a whole other thing. Or maybe we fuse them. I don't know that much about the straight out acrobatic world. But another progression that I really like to see is how people are taking acro yoga to other communities as a resource for community building and for bringing a sense of lightness and play in group dynamics for kids, for people who are suffering from traumas, for even, corporate groups and places where we might be standoffish, and we can take this practice and bring it to people, with disabilities, or as a way to help them connect with others. So I see that for me, the potential of moving in that direction is really good, and there's a lot to be done there. And I think in this society, we have so much individualism, and we sometimes feel very alone. And the practice is a place where we can practice remembering how to be together, and how that others are our collaborators and not our competitors. Well, right now I don't have any channels of my AcroYoga work, but you can find me as a friend of AcroFestonia. My name is Emma Kohn, Kohn, and when I'm in Quito, Ecuador, I'm running a jam every weekend in the park, and some workshops every once in a while in Ecuador as well. And that's AcroYoga Quito for your South American tourists and livers.
And for the rest of the world, and also AcroYoga is in Ecuador, so you can join us on YouTube, AcroYogaTV, so to find some free tutorials and maybe some videos we're gonna film with Emma. So keep in touch. Let's see it later.